All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Haloyam. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, I want to get into some more news about, this Greenland thing, all right? Because Donald Trump wants to take over Greenland. All right, and Denmark is ready to defend Greenland. All right? Now Denmark is part of the EU, which the EU nations are America's allies. Now that goes into prophecy that is written in Revelation the 17th chapter, the 16th verse. All right? Because the EU in the Bible, all right, the beast that you read about in Revelation, all right, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, all right, the beast is talking about NATO and the European Union, all right, the 7 heads represents NATO, all right, and the 10 horns represents EU, all right. Now it talks about the 10 horns, all right, shall hate the whore, which is America, all right, and shall burn her flesh with fire. So it's prophecy that even America's allies are going to turn against America and shoot missiles over here to destroy it as well. All right, because it's prophecy that America is going to be obliterated and swept off the face of this earth by nuclear destruction. And even America's allies are going to partake in that nuclear destruction, America's destruction. All right, America being swallowed and engulfed by nuclear fire. All right, I already reported on it when you go to my YouTube channel. All right, you go to my videos. All right, this is 3 days ago. It's right here. All right, I titled it, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." All right, which the 10 horns is talking about the European Union, America's allies. So even America's allies are going to turn against this place and shoot missiles over here as well. All right, this is going into prophecy because Denmark is one of America's allies. But Denmark is ready to defend Greenland, all right, and go to war with the U.S. over Greenland. All right. So this is January 14th. This is today. All right, 2026. Denmark, because I already, like I said, I already reported on it. I got into that. I suggest you watch this video, okay? But I want to get into it more. All right, let you know what's happening because, like it says right here, Denmark beefs up military presence in Greenland amid fundamental disagreement with the U.S., right? And this is coming from Time, all right? Denmark's, but I got more articles on it right here. It said Denmark to deploy more troops to Greenland, all right? This is coming from the Copenhagen Post, all right? Then I got from Associated Press News, Danish official says there is a fundamental disagreement with Trump over Greenland. All right, Greenland, it says Macron warns of cascading consequences if U.S. seizes island. All right, so you should watch this video, man. All right, because Trump getting ready to attack Iran, attack Greenland. All right, things is getting hectic out here, man. Things is getting real serious out here. It's time for you elect to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the elect that's still out there, man. Okay? Before all hell, bro, we're right here. It's getting ready to break loose. But before things are actually like, shit hits the fan for real, you got to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right? You got this uproars of the people in Iran, right? You got uproars of the people that's happening right now in the U.S. because of what happened in Minnesota, with the ICE killing, right? Now you got these so-called Black Panthers rising up, walking around with ARs, talking about, I wish an ICE agent would try to shoot me. I'm going to bring that video out. Excuse me. All right. You know, that goes into the Civil War, the race wars and the race riots. All right. Which we've been prophesying, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord been telling you about, man. Going into that prophesying, man. That's 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. You know, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands, which the swords represents weapons, guns. That's the modern day sword, a gun. So it's about to be stupid out here, bro. Retarded. All right, the race wars and the race riots and the civil wars you're about to see is about to be on another level that your mind can't even fathom. People are getting ready to be afraid out here. All right? Like the scriptures say, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. Right? So let's read this article. It says, Denmark's foreign minister said on Wednesday that a fundamental disagreement, quote unquote, with the U.S. President Donald Trump over the future of Greenland remained unresolved. After high-level talks in Washington, even as Denmark and NATO allies move to increase their military presence in the Arctic territory amid rising tensions. You see? The 10 horns, all right, shall hate the whore. All right? So this whole NATO thing and is all going to break up, man. All right? Everyone's hand is going to be against this place, Babylon. So it can be destroyed. This place is done. All right? It says Denmark's foreign minister said on Wednesday that a fundamental disagreement with U.S. President Donald Trump over the future of Greenland remained unresolved after high-level talks in Washington. All right? Even as Denmark and NATO allies move to increase their military presence in the Arctic territory, all right, amid rising tensions. And Donald Trump said, he says, I forgot exactly how the quote went, but he said, it's going to be either between, you know, Greenland or NATO or something like that. All right. And it said, let's keep reading. It says, speaking at a press conference after meeting with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, a Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Denmark's Foreign Minister Lars Loki, all right, Rasmussen, all right, described the discussion as frank but also constructive, but made clear that Denmark and Greenland firmly reject the Trump administration's continued effort to control semi-autonomous island. All right, the president has made his view clear, and we have a different position, Rasmussen said. All right, ideas that would not respect the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the right of self-determination of the Greenlandic people are totally unacceptable. All right, the high-profile meeting came as Denmark and its NATO partners are taking visible steps to reinforce their presence in Greenland. In Copenhagen, Denmark's defense minister, Troels Lund Poulsen, all right, announced that Denmark would increase military activity in and around Greenland, citing an increasingly unpredictable security environment. Rasmussen told reporters in Washington that Denmark was reinforcing security in the Arctic by committing additional funds for military capabilities. Not dog sleds, all right, but ships, drones, fighter jets, all right? Not dog sleds, but ships, drones, fighter jets, etc. All right, several European NATO allies confirmed that they were also sending personnel to the island. All right, so you got European nations and Denmark, all right, and NATO allies, bro. We're also sending personnel to the island, all right? Sweden's Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, all right, said that officers from the Swedish Armed Forces have arrived in Greenland to prepare for activities connected to a Danish military exercise. Operation Arctic Endurance. All right, Norway said it would send two military personnel to explore further cooperation with allies. All right, bro. So you got Sweden. All right, you got Norway. You got Sweden sending military personnel over there. All right, armed forces. Right. So you got Swedish armed forces, all right, in Greenland, all right. You got Norway, all right, military personnel being sent to Greenland. Come on, man. And then you got the Denmark military, all right, being sent to Greenland, all right. Germany's defense ministry said it was dispatching a reconnaissance team, all right, of 13 military personnel to Greenland for exploration mission, all right, from January 15 to 17, all right. The goal, the ministry said, was to assess possible contributions to regional security, including maritime surveillance. All right, so even Germany involved. You got Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Germany involved. All right, bro. I can't, yo. Like, there's so many conflicts and tensions and wars and going on in this world right now, on this earth, bro. Oh my god, bro. Bro, do y'all know what's happening or not? All right. It says the moves underscore growing concern in Europe that Trump's rhetoric risks destabilizing relations with NATO. Excuse me. All right. We are definitely ready to do more, Rasmussen added. All right. The moves underscore growing concern in Europe that Trump's rhetoric risks destabilizing relations with NATO. All right. That's that cruel lord. All right. Rasmussen was joined in the discussions with the White House by Greenland's Foreign Minister Vivian Motzfeldt, who said that while Greenland was open to strengthening cooperation, all right, with the United States on security, that did not mean it was interested in being owned by Washington. All right. It says we have shown where our limits are, Motzfeldt said. It is in everyone's interest to find the right path, but that path does not include ownership. All right. The meeting in Washington was requested by officials from Greenland and Denmark, all right, amid an escalating dispute fueled by Trump's repeated insistence that the United States would acquire Greenland one way or another for national security reasons, all right. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, which retains responsibility for the island's defense and foreign policy. All right. So Denmark, you know, they gonna protect Greenland. All right. All right. In recent days, Trump has argued that NATO should support a U.S. takeover of the island, warning that anything short of American control will leave Greenland vulnerable to China and Russia. All right. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. All right. Trump wrote on social media hours before the talks. All right. Anything less than that is unacceptable. All right. So you see what's going on, man. All right. Denmark to deploy more troops to Greenland. All right. We already kind of read that in this article. All right. But this article also is reporting on it. You know, the Copenhagen Post. You know. All right, it doesn't give me the whole article. You know, you have to log in, you know, on this website. But Denmark, it says Denmark has sent an advanced military command to Greenland as preparations are made to deploy larger forces to the Arctic territory. According to DR, the advanced command is tasked with preparing for the arrival of additional units from the army and other branches of Danish defense. All right, DR reports. All right. So you also got it here. Danish official says there is fundamental disagreement with Trump over Greenland. This is from the Associated Press, AP, right? A top Danish official said Wednesday that a fundamental agreement over Greenland remains with President Donald Trump after highly anticipated talks with Washington with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State of Marco Rubio. We read that in the other article. You know, so many articles. You know, this is news, man. All right, Macron warns of cascading consequences if U.S. seizes island. All right, President Emmanuel Macron spoke after Donald Trump once again claimed the mineral-rich territory. The U.S. president said that Greenland is vital for U.S. security and that the U.S. should seize it to prevent Russia and China from taking control. All right. It says French President Emmanuel Macron warned that if the United States seized Greenland from Denmark, all right, it would trigger a wave of unprecedented consequences. A government's bro. This is the Lord. It's all the Lord's, bro. Man, what bro? The Lord is preparing war. Everything is falling into place. Everything is falling into place. All right, everything that the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying is falling into place. All right. The Lord said, my word shall not return unto me void. You ain't got to worry about how the Lord is going to make things happen. How Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai is going to make things happen. It's going to happen. All right. The Lord said, my word shall not return unto me void. Everything the true prophets of the Lord, the Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teach in like manner have been prophesying. All right. You just got to listen to them. All right. It's all coming to pass, man. All right. The prophets understand the scriptures. All right. We've been warning you and telling you about World War III. All right. Letting you know that this is getting ready to happen for decades, man. All right. It says if the sovereignty of a European ally were affected, the cascading consequences would be unprecedented. All right. Spokesman Maud Bregan reported Macron as telling a cabinet meeting France is closely monitoring this. So you even got France, bro. Come on, bro. All right. World War III. All right. France is closely monitoring the situation and will act in full solidarity. All right, with Denmark and its sovereignty. All right. So France, you got France on getting ready to defend Greenland with Denmark. All right. Macron's statement came in reaction to U.S. President Donald Trump insisting that the U.S. control of Greenland is vital for his planned Golden Dome air, all right, and missile defense system. Ain't going to do nothing, bro. There's not going to be no missile defense system that's going to stop these nuclear missiles from hitting America. All right, the United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. Trump, who has vowed to seize the Arctic island from ally Denmark, all right, wrote on social media, NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable, all right? So you see what's going on, man, all right? So just keeping you in the know, man, to let you know what time we're living in, man. Bro, you know, we're living in the last nanoseconds of this current age before Yahweh Shai cracks that sky, man. We don't got 5, 6, 7 years here, bro. 10 years here. All right? Nuclear missiles are getting ready to fly very, very soon. All right? So, you know, with that being said, to let you know what's happening, what's going on, man, to keep you in the know. We're watching. All right? Warning. All right? So call Haloyam, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. All right? Unto the next one, Shalom, Shalom.